Hi everybody, it's Glitchy McCrash, and this video is about whether you should be using Phoenix and Colossus in Dark Dimension 3, or if there are now better choices. So, going back and just remembering why Phoenix was recommended originally. Uh, at the time, most people had Phoenix in their arena because you needed to have Phoenix as your in your arena team. So because of that, most people had her at the highest gear that they could get to at the time, and for a lot of us, that was gear 13. People also have Phoenix at high red stars. There was the red star gold credit offer fiasco, where we all got the gold star calendar, and I think a lot of people used that to push their Phoenix to 6 red stars. So she was high powered, and at the time we didn't have characters like Ghost. Emma Frost wasn't around, so there wasn't a lot of good options. So why would you still use Phoenix today? Well, if you don't have Ghost or Emma Frost or Mr. Sinister, then maybe Phoenix is still a good choice. If you don't have your Cosmic or your City teams ready to go, there's no need to get through the global nodes quickly if you're just going to be stuck waiting to have to gear people. So if you don't mind taking a while to get through global because you're not ready for City and you're not ready for Cosmic, then using Phoenix isn't an issue. And if you already have her at gear tier 13, because the team that I would recommend only has one other mutant, you won't have a shortage of gear, so you might as well take her then, and you can still use her once a day if your team isn't able to one-shot the nodes. So this is some footage here of the team that I originally used on node 1, just so that you have an idea of and reasonable expectations of what you can accomplish with Phoenix and why she might not be the best choice. So again, this is just the first node, and this was the best attempt I could get. This is not really a good team anymore. I mean, it never was really a good team to begin with, to be honest. This is back when Scientist Supreme was being used in Ultima 7 for her 15 minutes of usefulness in this game, and she's sort of back to being useless again. So the strategy, of course, is just to try to get to Dark Phoenix's special, and if you're lucky, get to her alt. And that's why people bring Colossus, because it helps get to the ultimate. You see questions about people about gearing up Ultron too, and Ultron's not really that great either. So Scientist Supreme down. So I was trying to get Falcon down before he could do his special there. And there goes Ultron. So the good thing about if you're going to use Phoenix and you have Colossus is he will let Phoenix get to her ultimate ability, but you're going to be spending a lot of days refreshing your Phoenix and being stuck on nodes. And I don't know. My goal is to try to get Dark Dimension 3 done as fast as possible. But if it's not really a priority and you don't mind just taking little bits of damage out every day, then sure, go ahead, use Phoenix. So we're not going to get to Doctor Strange before he's going to be able to revive Falcon, unfortunately. I've set it down to 2 times here because I want to be able to quit without any progress being saved. So we'll take out Falcon again. And then that's pretty much it. I'm quitting here out of safety. I think maybe, maybe he could have got Doctor Strange down. So that's not really a team I would recommend with Phoenix. So here's a better team. With Ebony Maw. Go back up. So you can see this is almost 630k power. So, I understand that not everybody's going to have that, especially if you're going through your first run. So I sped up the footage, but I didn't quite remember to hit 3 times speed immediately. There we go. All right. So it was same sort of thing. Try to get rid of Falcon first. With Sinister here, though, we can clone Falcon. The thing about this team is 3 mutants, so it's a little more, higher requirement on your mutant gear. As you can see, this team is going to do far better, having Ebony Maw able to heal and give the defense up. And I also understand that you're not going to be able to use this team in the strictly global nodes, but for the first 4 nodes, if you're using Phoenix, and this is a better team composition than the previous one. So I didn't want to take the chance of killing Cyclops there with Ebony Maw and having Ghost Rider counter into him. So that's why I switched over. So again, with Phoenix here, you're still going to need to do a refresh if you're going to want to do more than just this node in one day. These guys, this is going to be a one-shot, but you'll need to revive Phoenix to take her into the second node. So grab another Falcon. So with this team, you can see this node is going to get finished off. Everybody's going to be in pretty good shape to start the second node with a refresh on Phoenix. And since you can use your healing charges now that they give us, you won't have to use cores to revive your Phoenix. So I'm going to stop that there. So now this is the team here that I used on my speed run to do Dark Dimension 3 in under 4 hours for the global nodes. Now you can see the problem right away with this team is it's 5 mutants. And so if you don't have a lot of mutant gear, it's not really realistic, I guess, to use this team. But this team is really good because of the control that Magneto and Emma Frost give you. Strength as ability block is also really handy, and Mystique gets her evades, and she's going to be able to spread that with Sinister to the rest of the team. And so an attack that you can evade is just as good as an attack that you blinded, or, you know. The issue with Dark Dimension 3 is the damage output. So if you can mitigate that damage output, then you don't have to worry about it. And if you're able to evade an attack, it doesn't matter how strong it is. And having Strife is good for the ability blocks, because there are characters who aren't going to be affected by blind, like Namor on the later nodes. So having him able to ability block Namor and characters like that is really handy. So just speed this up here. So you can see the health. They're all in pretty good shape. So I'm just scrolling through this. So you don't need to see it all. And this team here will one-shot all the global nodes. Global node 7 can be a bit tricky. Let's speed it up a bit. I'm just not wanting to finish the node off because I want to show you the next team. So just pause it there. So this team here, I think, is a better choice if you're just starting out and all things are equal. So if you haven't got Phoenix unlocked. So of course the issue here is Ghost. If you don't have Ghost, you know, this team is definitely not going to work as well. But you don't need a really high Ghost. You can see this team is mostly a kit team. So Black Widow, Hawkeye, you don't need them to be, you know, 6 and 7 red stars. Mine aren't. You don't want them getting hit anyway, and so they're so fragile that even at higher stars that they're not going to last. But Black Widow's speed up is not dependent on her red stars. You know, Hawkeye focus is good for his blind. Ghost extending the debuffs. You know, her focus for putting the offense down is important. Your Sinister, you know, if you have Sinister at 5 red stars, that's good enough. The better he is, the better his clones are. But again, we're going to be trying to clone control characters anyway, so you don't need them for the damage. Even at high red stars on your Sinister, his clones aren't going to be able to take much damage. So, you know, you don't need him at 6 red stars, which I have him at. Now, Captain America. So Captain America, you want to have as high red stars as you possibly can, because he is going to be needing to protect these weaker characters. And, you know, so you can see in this match, it's important for him to be able to take the damage, because if you lose him, then that's going to be pretty much it. So let's sped up here. So I'm starting with trying to knock down Doctor Strange. I'm going to clone Falcon. So what you want to watch is people that cleanse, and people like Psylocke who are going to throw all these debuffs back at you. And trying to be strategic with Ghost and rewinding people's turn meter that you need to have rewound. So you can see Groot there cleansing everybody off. I do have the I guess it's the T4 in Black Widow to cleanse. So you can see, I didn't use it there. You'll see when I use her speed up that she's going to take debuffs off of Captain America and Hawkeye. There you go. So that's an important one to have because you don't want Captain America disrupted, because you want to be able to get his taunt and his defense up. The other good thing about this team is, with the exception of Ghost, all these characters are fairly accessible. And as a starting team, you have 1 bio, 2 skill, 1 mutant, 1 tech. So it's not really gear intense to get your first team up and running, and you can use this team for the first 8 nodes while you gear up your Cosmic in your city. Your Cosmic, you don't want Thanos, you're going to want Ebony Maw, so those are your 2, and Hela, and so those are, I guess, 3 Mystic, and then Proxima Midnight, which is your 3rd skill, and who else do I use? Oh yeah, Minerva, of course. So that's your 2nd tech. And then for City, you just need Symbiote Spider-Man, Carnage, and I guess Venom or Anti-Venom. So in total, you have 4 City. 3 of them are the last 4 nodes, so you have time to get them built up. You have your 3 Mystic in the middle. You have 2 tech, so that's not too difficult. You've got 3 skill, and it seems that everybody ends up with an abundance of skill gear. So, and then you've only got the 1 mutant. So, like I said earlier, because you've only got the 1 mutant, you can still gear up your Phoenix. I mean, but building a team around Phoenix, I don't think is probably the best idea. So I won't finish this off. I think I stop it. Rather than actually completing it. Yeah. So I wanted to be able to make sure that I was able to repeat that more than once. So that's the first node. Now, granted, first node is the easiest node. So what about node 3? So let's just go right back here for a sec. All right, so just point a few things out right away. So the team power here is 527. Unfortunately, Symbiote Spider-Man doesn't have his Web Slam off cooldown. That would have made a little bit of a difference. But yeah, we'll show you how this one goes. This is the notorious Ms. Marvel node here. So web slamming there would have been a better choice if it was there, just to slow people down a bit. So if your plan is to use Phoenix, you kind of need to have Colossus for this node, because otherwise Phoenix is going to get burst down before she gets even to her special. The opening salvo on this node is just brutal. And the issue with this this team here is there's really, other than Symbiote Spider-Man, there's no real control. So you aren't able to prevent any of that damage from coming your way. And so using Phoenix, you're trying to counter damage with damage. And the issue is that you're definitely you're definitely outgunned. I think the other thing to remember is that the reason why these global nodes are so bad is because they knew everybody would have a high geared Phoenix. And so they're somewhat designed to limit Phoenix's effectiveness. And so there's a strategy to use Phoenix against nodes that were designed to counter her. Really the best strategy? Probably not. So you can see we don't have anybody yellow yet. And yeah, I just stopped it there. So it's going to go back a little bit because I just want to talk about the team here. Okay. So in between recording videos, I kind of upgraded Captain America because I'm going to use them for Dark Dimension 4. And I kind of forgot I was like going to use them for this video, so I should have kept the team you know, back as they were in the first node. So they are a little bit better. And you know, of course, not everybody's going to have a 605,000K team. So the point isn't to say you should have a 605K team, because of course, if you had a 605K team, you could one-shot all the nodes anyway. So the point here being is just to show that this team composition is better able to control the match. And because you're better able to control the match, you're going to put out more damage than you would put out with just Phoenix. And so the point is you'll make faster progress with this team than the team with Phoenix. But I'm not saying that you know, a 400K team is going to necessarily one-shot this node. So ideally you'd want to get the blind onto Captain Marvel, but I didn't. So you just have to hope that you're going to be able to absorb some of the damage. If you can always restart, and if you get the blind on her, then you don't have to worry about the situation that I'm in here with Ghost and Hawkeye getting pounded before Captain America can get taunt up. You can see all those blinds, and then you can stun Psylocke so that she doesn't throw those back to you, and then start focusing in on getting down Captain Marvel. Sorry, Ms. Marvel. So the other thing on this node, and I don't remember if I did it or not, is to really focus one character at a time as best you can, because you don't want the node dropping when you have 4 characters left all at really low health, and then immediately having the next wave drop while the other wave is still up. And that's how you end up with sorry, I sped things up there, or I just cut it. So what I was saying is you don't want to end up in a situation where you have 3 Ms. Marvels. So out of interest of time, I sped it up to near the end, and so you can see that Sinister has cloned lots of Spider-Man and 1 Miles, and the reason for that is Spider-Man stuns. So at this point, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters that can stun. We've got Miles that can disrupt the tanks and rewind turn meter on people like Psylocke. We've got Hawkeye who can rewind people's turn meter. We've got Hawkeye who can AoE blind. And then we've got Ghost who can extend all those debuffs. And we've got Captain America who's protecting the weak characters and giving them energy so they can get their control out. And Mr. Sinister, of course, is the one that's providing all these clones. And you can see, like, even though these clones are fairly weak in health, they're lasting because people aren't getting any hits in because they're either stunned or blind. So and I guess, at this point you just want to start watching your cooldowns and make sure that you've got them all ready for the next node. But you can see this team is getting, done what a Phoenix team is going to take 2 weeks to get done. They're getting it done in about half an hour, 40 minutes. And I think if you had a team, in the 450 power range instead of the 600 range, maybe it takes you 3 days to get this node done. But that's still better than having to take, 10 days, 2 weeks with Phoenix. So I think that pretty much sums up the point I'm trying to make. It's not that Phoenix is a bad choice, it's just there's so much better choices. So when people say, well, you need Phoenix for Dark Dimension 3 and you need Colossus for Dark Dimension 3, you don't. And I think your mutant gear is probably better spent on Mr. Sinister, Emma Frost, Magneto. I mean, the Marauder team that I showed earlier works really well for Node 8. So, I don't know. I'm just not really a fan of Phoenix anymore. So I hope that sort of clarifies, why I'm not the hugest Phoenix fan and why I think there's better choices, especially for new players. And I think if you're a newer player and you haven't unlocked Phoenix, you shouldn't be discouraged about not being able to do Dark Dimension 3 without her, because you can. So yeah, if there's any questions or comments, you can leave them. I'll try to respond to them. And and just, I guess, acknowledge I understand that the team that I'm showing you here is really overpowered, and that you don't have a 600k team. But just to reiterate the point again, it's about control and being able to blind and stun your enemies. One other thing I should have said at the beginning of this video is I didn't come up with this team, so I don't want to take credit for that. I guess I got a message from Reminex when he was doing Node 7, saying that he had been able to one-shot it with Hawkeye and Ghost and Black Widow. And then right around the same time, Duartic was doing a stream, I think like the next day, where he was talking about using this team for Dark Dimension 4, although I believe he was not using Hawkeye and using Stature instead. And then, of course, everybody in Dark Dimension 4, at least the people that have completed a lot of the nodes so far, are using Captain America, Black Widow, Mr. Sinister, and Ghost, or another character. And I think the reason why is that Black Widow is fairly cheap to bring in there, and I don't think that Mr. Sinister has got too many gear pieces either. So yeah, I don't want to take credit for other people's discoveries, but yeah, hopefully this helps you in making your decisions for who to take into Dark Dimension 3. So thanks, and I'll catch you later.